And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that break, as we have returned with the beginning of the end, somewhat, of the Code for Giants Cup number 12. We have returned with the semi-finals, the first of two, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our TvT. We have our Brazilian Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Eximius Gaming. It is Kamikaze. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the other Brazilian Terran. We haven't been able to cast him yet tonight, but he is coming in as the favored player, the Yellow Terran, representing the Platinum Heroes. It is INexorable. Here we go. One of the younger up-and-comers here in the Brazilian scene, has been improving quite a lot over the years, and we'll see if he can make another finals run. Again, I do feel like in a TvT, both INexorable and Kamikaze are quite comparable in skill. They're both willing to embrace bio, both willing to embrace mech. This series could go either way. I do give the slight edge to INexorable, but I could definitely see Kamikaze bringing it home. I could see this going either way. But now, Double Gas versus a 2-Rax Reaper opener. Let's go through in the chat. Of course, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will take the series. Best of luck with your predictions. And my apologies, I assumed it was 2-Rax Reaper. It is 3-Rax instead. That is wild. 2-Rax Reaper is designed to punish a proxy and punish an all-in. This, though, is very different, and I actually have never seen this before. So Mass Reaper out of Kamikaze. Now, thankfully for INexorable, he's not going for an economic opener. If he had gone for a Rax Expand, I would be very concerned for INexorable. But faster Factory means faster Hellions, faster Cyclones. It means he will have a force to work with, an army to contend against the Mass Reaper of Kamikaze. Here we go. As the first Reaper's moving out, additional Reapers behind this, they're on the way. Hyper committed here from the Blue Terran. And I haven't seen 3-Rax Reaper from home before. I don't know if I want to. We'll see. We'll see how this turns out. Meanwhile, INexorable, he's the first to shoot, but reinforcements are on the way. And INexorable, he's gonna have to back off. He'll retreat, does spot the second Reaper real quick. He is aware that something is wrong, something is amiss. It's at least 2-Rax Reaper. Little does he know, it's 3-Rax Reaper. The CC on low ground is going to be delayed. Additional Reapers on the way. Hellion as well. With the help of the Hellion, we can save the natural. INexorable, he does cut back. Takes down one of the Reapers. Big pickoff. Again, when it comes to an all-in like this, when it comes to 3-Rax Reaper, you want to preserve your Reapers as best as possible. You want to snowball out of control with Mass Reaper. Losing one is a rough start for Kamikaze. Does lose the first Reaper. Behind this is expanding, but this is just so committed. As he's hiding here on the tall grass. Does shoot first. Takes down a Hellion. Massive pickup. But bleeds out another Reaper. Has the high ground. Will take down the Hellion. Will barely not. INexorable does pull away. And he will chase this down. Forces back the army. Will delay the CC on the low ground as well. Oh, Kamikaze, he wants the Hellion. Doesn't quite get it. Oh, gets a Reaper. Will shut down the Hellion as well. A nice control out of INexorable. He will lose everything though. But he does delay the CC. He does trade well against the Reaper. And behind this is getting to his bio production. Safety Cyclone into Marines. Likewise, Kamikaze also working towards his own bio transition with Stim on the way and Mass Marine. Now, there's going to be a window where Kamikaze has Stim and INexorable does not. There is going to be that window. Let's see if Kamikaze can make use of it. Meanwhile, INexorable chilling back at home. He is ahead when it comes to the expansion. The CC just now finishing off for Kamikaze. INexorable does have a worker lead, a mule lead, and a CC lead. So far, so good. INexorable does come out ahead, outside of the Stim timing, of course. The Stim is going to be a factor. INexorable moving out with the drop. Cyclone and 4 Marines. Yo, can he focus on the... Can he deny Stim? He could. But the Marines are in position somewhat. Drop comes in. Tank does siege. And Kamikaze will defend. Now, even though this drop doesn't get damage done, INexorable sees that he's behind when it comes to Stim. He does see it researching. He knows. He is aware. Knowing us out the battle, but he knows to respect the Marines. Stim is almost done. Third CC on the way for INexorable. A greedy maneuver, but it will get him further ahead. As long as he can survive the push. Question becomes, can he? Can he survive? INexorable diving in. Turrets on the way. INexorable here, of course, confirms bio, not mech. That's another important factor. This Kamikaze is not afraid to make it happen. And now that the third CC is finishing up, now we get into the rest of our maxes. Into a 5-rack setup, double eBays, double upgrades. Soon to be working towards Stim. Of course, because INexorable doesn't have Stim, he has to take more defensive stance. Here we go, Kamikaze is moving out with a massive Doom drop. Stim is done, there's 2 tanks with the army as well. This drop can get damage done. It's gonna hit like a truck. Meanwhile, INexorable, he does have 3 Ravens. He has auto turrets, he has disable, researched. He can disable those tanks. Scan reveals the army is missing. And it drops into the main. Yeah, massive Doom drop into the main base, going for the mineral line. There's not much to work with here. Disables are going up. Auto turrets being thrown down a little bit too far back. Oh, and the tanks, the disable is about to run out. Can he get the tanks? He gets 1. He gets 2. Both tanks go down. 21 SCV kills. Oh my god, that is almost game-ending damage. That's far too much. Kamikaze committing so much here to the Doom drop, and it paid off. It does well. Just like that, Kamikaze takes the worker lead. He just now starts up his 3rd CC. Now, what's important here is that Kamikaze, he killed 21 workers. That is true. That is insane. But INexorable has a 3rd CC. So he has more mules and he can make 3 SCVs at a time. INexorable can recover. This wasn't enough to kill, but it was enough to kind of even things up. Because if it wasn't for this drop, then INexorable would have snowballed out of control. He would have just gotten out of hand with the greater economy. Now Kamikaze, he does bounce back. On top of that, he has a larger army as well. He's moving out with more Marines. Another Doom drop. And again, INexorable, he's not really ready for this. He needs more time. He's building up more Marines, spreading out his tanks. He is still confined to 2 bases. Still rebuilding that SCV count. Moving across the map for a scout. Main base is still exposed. There is 1 tank in position. The drop is coming in. Does scan. INexorable does respond. He does unload here in the mineral line. Yeah, tank has started down. We do get 1 disable. Oh, there's another tank. Not quite in the mix. That's another 16 SCVs. The army is going to be pinned. And Kamikaze is going to lose almost everything. 2 medivacs trying to escape. Looks like they will be barely able to. Rough siege there for INexorable. No! Let the Marines free! The drop is coming in! Oh my god. Okay, INexorable, he backs up. Again, you got another 16 SCVs, so once again the economy is crippled. 3rd base now being taken for Kamikaze. And again, these Doom drops, they have been paying off very nicely here for the Blue Terran. Dropping once again. Just as the mules come in. Kamikaze dropping into the mineral line, forcing friendly fire. Oof. And INexorable, he's all in. At this point, he's completely all in. Tanks, they do siege in time, but here come the Ravens for the disables. Up, the Ravens! Ravens go down! Just 1 anti-armor missile. Tanks will fall. INexorable, he does break through. He shuts down the 3rd base, but he has to do more than just the 3rd. He has to go for the kill. Drop into the natural, drop in the main, gets cleaned up. That's a kill on the 3rd. But now this is tank on the high ground. INexorable, is he taking too long? Does he have a scan? Oof. Yeah, big tank shots going off. But does take down the tank just barely. Has the kite back. Marines are being thinned out. Meanwhile, across the map, Kamikaze is still dropping, still getting more damage. Essentially a base trade. INexorable, he does defend. He has reinforcements. Denies the upgrades. The army rallies into tank fire. INexorable does take the fight. There's one tank on the high ground. INexorable, he has no vision. And bleeds out 2 tanks. And the Marines as well. A very, very close game. Kamikaze's going to finish up +1 vehicle weapons. He's on 23 SCVs. INexorable, he's on 31. But INexorable, he still has that third CC. Kamikaze does not. Oh, the medevacs! Medevacs get caught out. 4 medevacs go down. Massive pickoffs. Kamikaze, he has the greater army. Can move out. And here we go. We are settling in. We do have Kamikaze rotating over towards the natural. My apologies. Just shut the door. Also on vehicle weapons is going to be denied. INexorable is going to be able to collapse in. That one tank is doing so much damage in the back line, but it is going to be targeted down. And INexorable, he overwhelms. He shuts down the army. GG, well played. And INexorable will take game number 1. GG. A wild game. A wild game. GG, well played. INexorable, he does take a lead in the series, but that was a very, very intense game. Basically, Kamikaze, he was really playing to his name there. He was very aggressive, he was very committed, a very risky play out of Kamikaze, but it paid off. You know, these Doom drops were getting damage done. It was really risky and in a way kind of all in. Even the initial opener, the 3-Rax Reaper, was very committed, but because it was doing damage, I mean, it was worth it in the end. Did kind of lead to this more chaotic game state. I do favor INexorable in a standard macro game, but that's not what we're getting. Clearly, that's not what we're getting. We're not getting standard macro. We're getting these more aggressive kind of game states and these more wild plays. GG. GG, well played. INexorable does take a lead, and we'll see if he can claim the series or if Kamikaze can bounce back. I'm hoping for an ace match, but we'll see. We'll see how this story does unfold. Till then, though, do need a moment. Okay, I do apologize. I've returned, but here we go. In the top left-hand corner, we have our Brazilian Terran player, the yellow Terran, representing Platinum Heroes. It is INexorable. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the Brazilian Terran player. It is Kamikaze. Do apologize. Un momento. Here we go. We are going to be settling in. But again, I do apologize. Just had to do something IRL, but now we can focus on our match. We can focus on our game. Again, we had a wild game one with INexorable, of course, surviving the aggression of Kamikaze and bouncing back. But here we go. We're getting into game number 2, and we do have, once again, okay, one base play for now. Kamikaze opening up double gas, going into a faster factory. Likewise, INexorable going for an economic opener, going for a Rax into CC on the low ground. Something more economic. INexorable will take a slightly more economic opener here, economic lead. Kamikaze, more aggressive. And this could lead into one base all-in. This can lead into one base aggression, or just into an expansion. It looks like we will be expanding on the low ground. Let's go. Let us go. As we do have our 1-1-1 setup here. Now, this double gas opener can lead into either Cyclone aggression, can lead into a Banshee-based opener, into faster tank production. There are options. There are definitely options here for Kamikaze. We'll see what he gets into. For now, it is going to be Reacted Reaper. Reacted Reaper Hellion from our Red Terran. Meanwhile, INexorable back at home taking a more defensive stance. Cyclone production has begun. Marines are amassing. Reaper Scout will confirm. So INexorable, he gets eyes on the army, on the setup, on the Reapers, the Hellion as well. He's aware, and INexorable, he should be getting ready back at home. He shouldn't move out, otherwise he'll be caught out by this. Oh boy, as Kamikaze does push. Behind this going Reacted Cyclone as well. This could be the beginning of mech. Metamech's on the way. Interesting for the Cyclone drop. The aggression doesn't end. Similar to the previous game in that sense. Pushing up the ramp into the Cyclone. Marines have right, boys have to be pulled. Oh, and INexorable, he's in a bit of trouble. Cyclones are getting low, but he does hold. INexorable, he does hold. Meanwhile, Kamikaze, at least he preserves most of his Hellions and Reapers, moving out with the Cyclone drop towards the left-hand side. And he has more Cyclones on the way. Okay, so far so good. Stim is in production, so I was anticipating it might be mech with a second factory, but no, there is no second factory. Kamikaze is embracing bio. Double drop into the natural. Getting a CV. Two SCVs go down, nothing major yet. INexorable so far holding, still maintains a worker lead. We mentioned before, third CC now on the way for both players. This time at a more similar time, at least, compared to the previous game. So Kamikaze isn't going to be all in. Meanwhile, as INexorable moves out, Kamikaze moves in, getting another 2 SCVs. 4 in total. Not bad. Getting 4 SCV kills. Drop into the main. Going for the Raven. Raven does survive. Likewise, getting to the rest of our Raxes, getting the rest of our setup, and we're just calming things down. After an explosive game 1, we're calming things down here in game 2. Both players are expanding, both players working towards their third bases. We have Bio Tank on the way here for Kamikaze. Likewise, the same can be said for INexorable. Scan does confirm, does get eyes on the CC, so INexorable, he can breathe easy. Can breathe a little bit more easy here. We see 4 more SCVs. I mean, honestly, Kamikaze's done well for himself. Looking at the use loss tab, that's been 8 SCV kills so far. Not bad at all. Liberator's still alive. Ooh, INexorable does catch out one of the Cyclones. Pulling back with the other. Kamikaze now moving out. Now, this move out should not really be to commit to try to kill his opponents, but might just be to contain, ideally to delay the third. As I say that, though, taking a stronger stance here in the center of the map instead. Getting his third, INexorable moving out. The armies will come across each other. Kamikaze does spot this, does siege up. Oh, the disables though. Yeah, massive disables on the tanks. Not enough bio either. And Kamikaze getting caught with his pants down, losing every single tank. Not enough support. Has to pull away. Barely any Marines, despite having the faster stim. Just barely any Marines there to support the tanks. And INexorable is snowballing out of control. He's pushing in towards the natural. Boys are being pulled from both ends. And Kamikaze coming in for the surround. And he might be able to hold on, but he's going to lose so many SCVs in the process. Tank shots going up, but he will clean this up. Yeah, the tanks are surrounded. Tanks get shut down, but for 12 SCVs. Nice defense out of Kamikaze. But now his economy is crippled, and INexorable, he's not done. Dropping into the main. And again, Kamikaze barely has an army. Ooh. Tank will siege. Came for the production. He wants the tank. He wants it. He's gonna get it. Oh, tank goes down. And before we can really get into the mid-game, I was hoping we can have a more back and forth and embrace the 3-base economy, but before that happens, Kamikaze, he's hurting, he's struggling, he's in trouble. Medevacs boost away, dropping here towards the third, no saturation, no mining. Across the map, likewise, Kamikaze also dropping in a moment of desperation, but there are reinforcements, and Kamikaze, the drop just does not get any damage. INexorable holds. He holds, he defends, his third base fully saturated, 4th CC on the way. Just getting further ahead. That's a kill on the medevac. And Kamikaze, he's hurting. He's up against the wall. He's down to less than 40 SCVs. At this point, he's pretty committed and pretty all in. I mean, he always is. He's when it comes to the last game, just keep dropping. True. Once again, going for another drop across the map. It's what he does best. But this time he's scattered. This time he is spotted by INexorable. INexorable, he will respond. Keeping up with the main army. Does disable one of the tanks. A little bit of a misclick, but regardless, he cleans it up anyway. Takes down the tanks, chases back the army. Doesn't quite get the medevac. Pulls back. Kamikaze trying to stabilize. He hasn't made an SCV in quite some time. Still on 43 workers. Yeah, skipping macro cycles for the SCVs. Just focusing on army. He's down to 1 tank. Upgrades are even, but 2-2 is going to kick in here for INexorable. He's just getting out of hand, getting out of control. Phoenix, he's sending it back. Yeah, Kamikaze scans across the map, gets eyes on saturation, 4th base not being taken. Ooh. Big tank shots going up. Phoenix, he has to back off. Let's get the hell out of here. Pulls away. He's almost maxed. You can see here he's paranoid about a drop into the main. I don't blame him. After what's been happening this series. Speaking of dropping to the main. Oh. As INexorable moves out, Kamikaze, he's dropping again, but this time once again getting scattered. He is spotted. You see Inex pulling back home. So paranoid about the drop. Marines getting in position. Main army moving in. Take down the spotter depots. INexorable stems into the naturals. All boys are being pulled. GG, well played against Cord. We don't get the final fight, and INexorable will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here. Congratulations here to INexorable for advancing on to the grand finals. A shout out though to Kamikaze for making an entertaining series as well. Not the most standard of TvTs. Kamikaze, he was kind of playing all in both games, just non-stop drop play, doom drops time and time again. Was making a very chaotic game state in game 1, less so here in game 2. Much more solid play out of INexorable. INexorable, he was able to kind of acclimate to his opponent, able to respond, able to shut Kamikaze down. GG, well played. GG, well played. Congratulations. INexorable is going to be our first finalist, and the question becomes, who is our second? Heading on over here.